Hello?
The podcast playground. Hooray!
This is the Deron Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Deron Harris.
Okay.
So, welcome to the Deron Harris Podcast. I'm your host, Deron Harris. I'm sitting here with my wife, Ivonne. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, baby.
And we're talking about a couple things. We're talking about our road trip today. If you follow my podcast or you've heard if you haven't, my wife and I, we live full-time in an RV. And we've been living full-time in our RV for 3 years now. Right. And for the first time, we have left the state that we live in. And we went through middle America all the way up to the Midwest. We are currently in Union, Illinois, which is about 50 or so miles outside of Chicago. That's what she tells me. But
we'll see today. Our
drive through was quite peculiar, and it was alarming. It was a good drive, but it was a very perilous drive. We had some revelations riding through the country, and they're alarming, for lack of a better phrase. And today we are going to go through what we saw on our trip in the middle of America and why we should be on our P's and Q's. You know, why we need to start paying attention here in society, because things are changing, y'all. But first, before I get into that, I want to do a quick, fast mental health check-in, because I love y'all, man. I just want to make sure. I mean, my mental health has been tested this whole week. On the drive up, it took us about 5 days, but on the drive up, my mental health has been tested, and I just want to say thank goodness for therapy. And I'm a big advocate for therapy. I don't have any kind of sponsor or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that, especially men, especially black men, men of color, men, what's going on in society right now. And I know that, resources are scarce, but there are people out there that are willing to help you. And if you can't make it, you feel like you can't get through, you can drop me a DM to one of my socials, and I'll try to see what I could do, man, because the last thing I want is for people to suffer mentally, because as a person who suffers from depression and anxiety myself, I know these struggles, and I know they can be overwhelming, and I know it could be a real thin line for between being here and not being here. So before it gets to that point, I want to encourage everybody out there, go out and seek a little bit of help. So like I said, today we are talking about our road trip in the middle of America. But before we get into that, I am going to take a quick, fast break. I'm Deron Harris, and this is my podcast. I'll be right back.
The podcast playground. Hooray!
Now, back to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the podcast. Sitting here with my wife. What's up, babe?
Hey, babe.
We are talking about our road trip through the middle of America to Chicago, and where we are from and where we are headed. So I guess with the we start with the obvious. Right. We ain't ever done this before.
Never.
we not professionals at this at all.
Yeah, it's our first time.
Yeah.
It's our very first time. We were nervous, but
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure everything was going to work.
Right. It took us a long time, or a few months, to get to where we're at, just because we had to get a few things done.
Yeah, we had repairs.
Yeah, but we were excited to do it. It's just, it took us a bit longer than expected, but
Yeah.
we were nervous
when
we took off.
Well, I mean, I was nervous and excited at the same time.
Yeah, you were ready.
Listen, I was ready to get the fuck out of there.
Yes.
I like to listen.
Yeah, you were ready. You were like, let's go every day.
Listen,
And
my
I
therapist,
was like, wait.
my therapist said, she said, I think it was time for you to leave there. it was, she was able to notice that there was a definite change in my attitude, my behavior, just by leaving. So it is very important, your surroundings, for your surroundings. And so where we were, was always not a good place for me to be in the first place. I really never liked going to Lake City anyway. The only reason I went to Lake City is to see my mother, see my grandmother, see some of my cousins, but
not to stay this long.
The
like
town,
this was the longest.
The town itself is just, it was just really never, it was.
It's not.
I mean, I've got some good friends there.
It's cool. It's just. I mean, it's not for us.
The town does not grow. It is there. It is very
depressing.
It is very depressing. It is, and I'll tell you, when I lived there, when I graduated high school there, when we came back, I graduated in 1988. When we came back, when we just went back 3 years ago, there had been virtually hardly any growth, and any of the growth that they were talking about. Well, they opened up a old time buffet out there
really
on 90.
Excited about that.
Well, there's an Olive Garden here now. Lake City's growing. No, it's not. No, it's not. You got another food entity off of the highway because that's all it is. It's a food stop, and their downtown is completely run down. You know what I mean?
There's only a few things
there's
open.
There's nothing there. It's church after church after church after church after church after church. And it is still one of the most depressing places I've ever been in my life. It is first, it's oppressive. It's hot. There is a clear divide down the middle of the road. They wave and, they're civil in public.
Right.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? But there's this underlying.
You still get that look?
Yeah.
Well, I know I got the look a lot.
Yeah.
I did get a lot of compliments on my hair, but that's because every time I walked in, it's like, wow.
Well, everybody's like looking at you like you're some sort of show pony.
I'm like,
wow, look at your hair, girl. God. And it was just.
And it's okay. I mean, I love my hair,
but. It got to the point where it was. You were starting to have those like we used to have. Can I touch your hair moment?
Yeah, don't touch my hair.
Just to can I touch your hair just to see, But no, motherfucker. First, you can't touch my wife, motherfucker. No,
don't touch my hair. Don't touch me.
But the thing about it is people in that town are so separated and. At the same time, I did see this though. At the same time, even myself, some of the people that I grew up with in high school, like my cousin Ron that lives there, and some of the people he joined the Marine Corps with some of the people from there, and they were Marine Corps. They're Marine Corps brothers, white guys that he went to the Marine Corps with, and now they live back in Lake City now together, and
they're cool.
And they're not only cool. That's my brother, man.
Right.
I love this man. We fought, whatever it was, we went to, we went over to wherever we went to together as Marines. I love this man. And there's, people that have grown up and have, biracial children in the town.
Yes, I saw that.
A lot of it. You see, it's all over the place. What you see, what you do see is this. You see a lot of Paw and Maw
yes.
out there with the baby. You know what I'm saying? Out there with the little grandbaby.
But they're happy.
Yeah, it looks like sometimes Paw is still trying to get a grip on it.
One of them is,
either
Mama.
one of them is good with it and one of them is not good with it. Rarely do you have, where these people are good with it. It's never really any real acceptance.
True. I didn't think about it that way. But
it's never really any real acceptance in that racial that biracial dynamic in a lot of these families, and it's obvious. But at the same time, it's like hilarious to watch Paw try to figure out how I braid this little girl's hair right here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hey, Mama, why don't you come here and help me with this little? Well, I heard. Well, we're supposed to put some sort of grease in their hair. I don't know what to do, Mama. But they want to hate, but they can't because it's part of who they are as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's part of who they are. That's my grandchild.
Yeah, and then look at this child.
It's beautiful.
So what's the problem?
You know what I'm saying? Do I really not like their daddy?
For what?
Or even now, their mother.
Right.
Because there's a lot of white men now that I'm seeing in Lake City in biracial relationships with black women and Latin women. And I'm not opposed to that at all. Love who you love.
Yeah,
You-
I think that's
you know,
a good. I mean,
it
they're making a statement like, "Hey, this is my chick."
Absolutely, and the one thing, and that's the one thing about it, because they clearly don't share the same ideology as the majority of the people in that town. So it's easier for them to say, I don't give a fuck about, for instance, Trump or his presidency.
Right.
I would have voted the other way, even though I live right here. I understand what my girlfriend is going through, because it's bullshit. Because he saw it. Well, the first thing that person did is he saw through color. He saw through it. He saw a person. He didn't see a black person. He didn't see a Spanish person or Asian person. He saw through color. The white man saw through color, and what he saw was he was attracted to beauty, and he was attracted to the person that was inside.
Right.
So much so that he was willing to give it an opportunity to get to know this person. You know what I'm saying? And they ended up falling in love, having kids, and now they're married. And, we live out here on 5 acres, and on our trailer we got 2 goats and a fucking donkey. And that's where we are now. That's where we live now. We live happily. But they do get certain, persecution from, maybe you're not friends with people you used to be friends with.
Yeah.
But those people made that sacrifice. I don't give a fuck what you think. But then you have the other side of that. I'm still going to be who I am. I'm just trying to get me some, I'm trying to get me some colorful strange is what I'm trying to get. Just out there, for lack of a better phrase, sport fucking. You know what I mean? Just being.
Well, white women do it too.
Well, absolutely. Everybody does it. You know what I mean?
The minute that they find out the daddy's racist,
yeah,
they go and they're like, okay.
Well, I have known people who have put it back in their parents' face. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? This is my person.
Right.
And this is we have 2 children now. And I love this man or I love this woman. And if you want to be in my grandchildren's lives, then you're going to have to accept this person for who they are. Like I have a person that used to work for me named Allison. And her family is a great example of a family that truly and genuinely accepts her biracial relationship with her husband.
Okay.
They bought a house and pool and, her husband is just, they love this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
They got pictures hanging out with this motherfucker. They're all doing, they do shit together. They have so many photographs. I look at her social media. They have so many photographs of them traveling with her and her family, him and his family, and their whole family, and their families traveling together. And these families are truly an integrated family.
Right.
They're an integrated.
But that's little. I mean, that's a small percentage of people.
That's a very small percentage, but
that's good that they're living that way. I mean, for them, great.
Right.
But then there's others that just like, hey.
Well, that's the town of Lake City, and that's one of the reasons, the main reason
and
we
there's
decided.
The split right there on 90.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like I see the split is right there.
Well, there's a major split. There's a few splits.
Yes.
Because you have the east side and the west side when you talk about the urban, quote unquote, urban neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? But then everybody else, a lot of people are relegated to living out in the country also. Where there's nothing.
Oh yeah, we saw.
And if you don't have a fucking car, you're fucked.
A few of them.
Yeah.
Especially when we go to Gainesville.
Yeah, there's people out. There's people out there. There's people back there.
Right.
But there are few far between, and our numbers aren't. And we don't have the resources that a lot of people have. A lot of us live in poverty out that way. Now, not all of us. I'm not going to say that all of us do, because some of us out there do make a good living. They've, were smart with their money. They made a solid purchase or a solid investment, and they've come into gains, based on the investments that they've made, living in
Right.
Lake City, for whatever profession they might be, a nurse, or maybe they work out at the prison, or maybe they work for, the company that builds trailers or some shit like that. But they've made a good living. They got a good family. They got 3-4 acres, 4 or 5 acres out here on Lake Jeffrey Road or wherever you're at.
And guess what?
What?
They can keep it.
They could keep all that,
'Cause
and that's
we
why
left.
we had to leave. And that's what I'm talking about.
We left.
We listen.
We left.
We were living in this RV, and we're like, why the fuck are we here?
No, I actually have a video of you from last week. Just hey, we're getting ready to leave, and I was like, "Are you ready?" I asked you to go ahead. I said, "Are you ready?" You said, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. And we did, and we rode through town one last time. We saw everything that we were gonna see, and we jumped on I-75 north and went north.
So 75, that road, I've been on that road. So I've been doing road trips from Chicago to Florida
Right.
for about 15 years.
Right.
So I'm familiar with that road there.
Right.
What I was not familiar with was past that. So once you did the detours, we went into Macon
Right.
and then into Atlanta.
Well, we wanted to. The reason
Yeah.
I went that way, in which I'm still kind of glad that we went the way that we went, because I wanted to avoid the mountains.
Well,
But I ended up in the fucking mountains.
yeah,
I don't know how the fuck I ended up in
This
the
whole
mountains.
road
We
trip.
straight up tried to avoid the mountains and ended up right. It seemed
Well,
like
we thought we have an app, and we really thought when we were looking at this app that
app don't give a fuck about us.
no, the app actually is very accurate. We made the decision. We made the decision to say, oh, maybe we can just start at the beginning of the mountains, because we did have two options. That app said, hey, this is the elevation. And I think we just ignored that. And we were like, we're going to go with this option. And I don't know if it was just Google, but that's how we ended up in the mountains.
Well, it turned out
we did that because the app is like, hey, I have an elevation for you if you just take the time to look at it. But
this is where you're at.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like at one point I was like, I think this is going to be okay, because it wasn't a lot of
at
gradings.
what point?
Well, when I realized that the Jeep is braking also on top of the RV braking, the Jeep is
Right.
helping us brake, which I'm like, okay, I'm good with that, and I could take my foot off the gas. And even though we were grading down in some points, it was kind of easier to kind of grade down. But I'm not trying to go to no Rockies yet. I'm not going up to no fucking.
It was,
I mean,
yeah.
at one, what was it, like 1,100, 11?
The highest you reached was, 1,084.
Yeah, almost 1,100, almost 1,100
Yeah.
feet. And
Well, the first one that you came up to, the first high elevation, well, the first one, wasn't even high, because you went higher than that. But the first one, when you were like, how did we end up in the mountains?
Yeah.
And I went to see the elevation. I was like, oh shit, you're just at 500.
oh,
And
we
we
gotta
have to get to 8, then come back down and get to this 1,000. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that shit. I didn't like. I thought we was coming out, and now we had to go through this shit again. And I was like, wow.
It was nice.
It was it was beautiful. I wanted to see it. I wanted to, and that's one of the
I'm glad we
reasons.
did it.
And I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did it. And it wasn't. Now I'm glad that we didn't continue on 75, because that 11-mile grade up and the 11-mile grade down in Chattanooga, I was kind of afraid of, because I did see like last time we went in the Suburban.
Right.
I did see like runaway truck
Oh, yes.
ramps and
Oh,
shit
yes.
like that, and I'm not even down with
And
that
that's
shit.
why I kept telling you, whatever we do, we can't get on 24. We can't get on 24. We cannot go through 24, because Chattanooga's in from wherever, from Florida to Chicago, but
Right.
the other way around. I know for sure, because I've had to go through there with a budget truck twice. No, 4 times. No,
Right.
twice.
Right.
When we moved my mom from Florida to Chicago, and when I moved.
Right.
And it was nothing nice, to the
Right.
point that I told the kids, hey, I need you both to shut up. Don't say anything,
Don't say shit.
please. Silence. Because they would argue
just
from
shut the
time to
fuck
time,
up.
and I'm like, it's not the
But
time.
drive us off the side of this mountain.
Because I had a car. I had the CRV.
Oh, you
I
were
was
pulling the
fooling.
CRV.
Yes. And I
Wow.
was like, and I brought my son.
Fuck that.
I brought my son because, he had a license. So I was like, cool, he'll help me. And right when it was time to switch, he was like, I don't feel confident.
You get to stay here. You get to stay here. Then why are you on your way with me?
Right.
Wow.
You're not eating for the rest of the road trip.
Yeah, you're not gonna eat nothing.
Yeah.
You're gonna eat peanuts. Drink
Yeah,
water out of the
but-
hose by the gas pump.
I'm glad, though. I'm glad we did it. There was a point that you were coming down, but not only down, you were doing a curve, and not only a curve, you were going over a bridge, not only once, but twice. That was a lot to take. I was recording at that time, but I also, I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah, like deathly afraid
So
of heights.
I knew that here comes a bridge, and then here comes another one. So the way I record it, it is
See,
in the camera.
I'm not really afraid of heights, but at the same time, I don't really focus on, oh my God, I'm so far up in the air. I'm focused on the road and not going outside of these lanes, with this giant Class A RV with my Jeep.
And my anxiety is, I hope he stays on this lane so that we don't end up as far as all the way down there.
See, I'm not. Listen. Every time I go over some shit like that, the first thing I think is like all the movie clips where some shit is like just plummeted over the edge of some bridge on
all
some.
the time.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I was like,
so
this is.
even if I got to take I'll crawl across this motherfucker. We'll do 10 across this motherfucker. I don't care.
Honestly, if I was driving 5,
Yeah,
just.
we could just do 10.
No, but. Listen, I know we're joking and all that, but you did a great job.
Well, thank you very much. Like
You
I
did.
said, in this box right here, everything I love is in here. The first thing is you, and I just want it to be safe. This is all our stuff. This is us right here.
Yeah, and then
know
I
what I'm
look
saying?
over when another RV pulls through. So if you're
Yeah.
taking a curve and there's just
Yeah.
another one across the other way, going somewhere else, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, they look like they cool and everything.
Everybody looks cool, but I bet
Nobody
I wonder.
has their windows open.
I know. I was like, we got the most
How
like.
do you have AC, people? I want to know.
Well, like the guy said, you could start the generator. You could plug the generator because the generator's plugged into. You could start the generator and you can run the generator, and you can run. Then from the generator you can run the coach AC.
Well, I think like this.
The
new-
chassis AC is just.
like these that we just saw yesterday on the campground, one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
I think though,
Oh yeah,
if they turn it on in the front, I think their air conditioner from the front is enough for them because they look cool as fuck when they passing by. I don't think they all have
I
their
don't know,
generator
man.
on.
I don't know. Some of the newer ones are just
We
like they
need to
blow my
go.
fucking. Yeah, we need to fucking see.
Camping World.
Yeah, we need to check it out.
By the way, the universe gave us Camping World not only once but twice.
In the backyard, right? Like 2 times, right in the backyard of the fucking RV park. Also, like
but I
we've been
looked
staying.
online. I didn't see anything.
Shout out to KOA, by the way. Everyone we've stayed at so far has been really nice. Been at least people have been cool. Some of the people have been friendly. This one's a little weird.
Suspect.
It's well
No.
we're gonna
It
see.
is, but hey,
So, I want to talk about some of the things that we saw as we were riding up through the middle of America and a lot of these red states, conservative states.
yes.
And I really don't. This is not really a political podcast, but there are some political elements to it, and I just want everybody to be aware. When you are riding through the country, where you are riding and what is around you when you are riding through the country, when you're riding through these roads. And when we left the state of Florida, we passed over the state line, and almost immediately, was it a flag or was it a sign, babe?
It was a sign.
It was a
That
sign.
was not the.
a
That
big,
was not the place with the flag.
a giant billboard, Confederate flag billboard. Basically letting you know where you are. And I know for myself, it's kind of uncomfortable, but I don't expect anything different from the state of Georgia.
Right.
Because they're sore losers. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it like that. They're sore losers. And so that ideology, spreads. That ideology, that hatred spreads through that until you get up around Atlanta.
But that's it.
But that's
It's around right there.
Macon maybe a little also. But
Oh yeah. Well, we stopped at Macon.
and Valdosta. Those are 3 areas where there are a significant black population in the state of Georgia. But outside of the state of Georgia, it's outside of those cities and the more rural, and Savannah. And outside of those cities, it is more. It is extremely rural and extremely Confederate, and it is, for lack of a better phrase, it is alarming. And I knew it was bad, but it is alarming at the amount of hate that you see just placed, not even just hate, but just misinformation also about religion, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff. Just the billboards about pregnancy and just all kinds of things. And one thing I do notice that they're church, and more church. Guns, and more guns.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot the guns.
Yeah, it's just
Those
every.
going back to back to back.
Listen, I mean, you know what? Listen, I don't know what it is. I mean, what is America's obsession with killing shit? I mean, just wanting to kill some shit. I mean, I just don't understand that shit. And really, it's conservative America. What is there with killing shit? And that's all they want to do. They create and fabricate these scenarios in their head that they have to be ready and prepared for. Man, I can't. If keyword being if somebody comes in my house, I might have to put them down, man, and I got to put them down hard, man. But goddamn, what if you don't? What if you're just not a dick all the time? That's how I feel about it. What if you're just not a fucking douchebag all the time? Where you feel like you want to go out here and talk shit to people. You want to talk shit to people when people say shit back to you. Now, I got to protect myself. No, man, you're a coward. You ain't got no fight skills. And that's what we see out here in the middle of America is a lot of scared people, insecure people that have taken on this ideology that they're being attacked and their way of life is being threatened.
Well, with that comes a lot of people also being rude because we experienced that at the subway.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna get to that later.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to go because we ain't even got the Buc-ee's yet.
Well, Atlanta. So I've been through when I've taken my road trips from Chicago to Florida. I've passed through Indiana,
right,
Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia.
Okay.
And as a woman, because I've always traveled with the kids,
right,
and then it just was at one point it's just me and Annalise,
right.
And now here I'm traveling with her, and I have to prepare her to, hey, we're gonna go through some states,
right?
We're gonna stop. We're gonna get gas. We're not really gonna hang out, get food, and the fact that I've always had to say that.
Right.
At a young age to her, imagine that, what that does.
Right.
I don't want to put fear in her, but I also want to keep
you know
it
what
real with her.
The fucked up part about it is, and people are going to say, it's white America. It's white America that you have to prepare her for. It's white America and their disdain for people that are not white in their areas.
Right.
I mean, in areas of the country, they just have this preconceived notion that all people of color are inherently bad, or they're evil, or they're gonna they.
I mean, if you say
and they gotta protect themselves against them,
you're gonna die.
And
it doesn't work that way.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. But nevertheless, you feel. We went into at Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's the reason I said that is because I'm familiar with 75. Where I wasn't familiar is when you made the
we went west.
The turn west into Alabama.
Into Alabama.
And Alabama really, it was, as for the road was okay. But as for the things that were on the side of the road, I was like, whoa. It was, because remember, that's where
it's very startling. It really is.
But the sign says "Sweet Home Alabama."
Yeah, because because the thing about it is it wasn't supposed to really be our home. It wasn't really supposed to be sweet for us. It was always supposed to be sweet for them. Their land of milk and honey, where we lived under their boot. That's why they love it and have we are black people, and now some brown people, we are the black mark in their perfect America. You know what I'm saying? Their perfect America. You know what I'm saying? They want America to be the land of milk and honey and prosperity and all this greatness for them. And that's what these people out there voted for. This is all they voted for. And I need a working class. And I don't care what happens. So it doesn't matter that they're building all these detention centers. These people will never stand up and say that's wrong because they don't fucking care, because it doesn't directly affect them. You know what I'm saying? And it might actually in the end benefit them. That, or so they think. I'm going to take a quick fast break, and we're going to continue talking about what we saw between Florida and Chicago on the motherfucking highway. This is Deron Harris Podcast. I'll be right back.
The podcast playground. Hooray!
Now, back to the Deron Harris Podcast.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. We talking about our trip cross country, well, from the South to the Midwest, from Lake City, Florida to, I guess we're in Union, Illinois, which is about 50 miles outside of Chicago. We're talking about that today, and what we saw between here and there that really was alarming to us, and I think for a lot of us, people of color, you know what I mean, it should be alarming to you as well, because it's, while we sit and think that this is just wow through the TV lens, that this shit is just happening in another foreign land. That shit is happening right in the movies. This shit is happening for real right here. It's happening for real, and we got to pay attention to it because it's gaining traction. It's gaining strength, and people are jumping on the bandwagon with it, and they're out in the open with it, and it's alarming, just to say the least. So when we got to Atlanta, we didn't really go into Atlanta. We
right on time.
Like right on time.
As soon as you took that curve,
see all that traffic? Did you see that shit?
Yeah, I have it.
It was like the next.
I recorded that. I was like, look,
Yeah.
goodbye, hello, and goodbye.
And we headed west into Leeds, Alabama. We didn't know we were going to be. We
were heading to Birmingham.
We were headed to
That's
Birmingham.
That would be the next stop, just in case.
Right. But I had been driving for a while, so we ended up in Leeds, where we saw a Buc-ee's travel stop for the first time. Absolutely amazing. But before we got to Buc-ee's, there was something that kind of stuck out to you.
Oh, yes. As you were driving, I heard you say, look. And I was like, what? Because I'm always all over the place. But I saw all these Confederate flags like on the side of the road, and they were on the left side. But on next to the flags was a billboard, and it said something about a fest.
Like some sort of festival or something.
And I was like, what? Like,
I mean, that's just like in they have like the Olustee Festival.
Right.
They have Confederate festivals. That's how they keep the ideology alive, because people know what it was about.
Right.
That's how they keep that ideology alive. Because think about it like this. Think about 1930s Germany. Swastikas are outlawed in Germany. You can't.
They had a few here. I mean,
but not here. Here, that movement was allowed to continue. They weren't punished. They were just, as a matter of fact,
how it is with flags.
Exactly. So now you can see in lots of southern states, they have adaptations of that Confederate symbolism in their flag. Florida is one of those places that has that Confederate symbolism in that.
Well, there was one company off of the highway. Remember, they had like their cranes up.
Yeah.
And they had the flags.
Yeah.
Hanging.
Yeah, they're
proud.
City. They're proud of it.
They're no longer there, but that's where it was, right on the highway. Like, oh,
yeah,
hi,
to show people
this is the town that
it
we
is a
live
show.
in.
It is a show for people. It is a landmark for people to realize where you are.
But
now, we don't feel. I mean, white folks don't particularly feel threatened by it. So when they ride by it, it doesn't. Even if they don't identify with the ideology, it doesn't necessarily say, "Oh my God, I'm threatened."
But this is what I was about to say. When I saw it, I wasn't more like fearful. I was just like, we're not stopping here for gas. This is not the place. That's just it.
Right.
I know that, but I'm trying not to be like, "Ooh, I'm scared." Hey. Because that's what they want. They want
you to feel fear, but
I'm alert.
But
I'm not no dumb bitch.
Definitely, I'm not afraid of them. But I am cautious around areas like that because I know that the law now is in their favor. So a lot of us, we got to understand that. We have to understand that the law now is in their favor. They got black kids getting beat up by groups and groups and groups of white kids, and that's not even being reported across the news or anything like that. You know, there are still people shooting and killing black people and not being held accountable. The officer that punched that guy in the social media video that was just sitting there in his car and they broke his window and they dragged him out of the car. The officer's not even going to face any charges for just hitting the dude. The dude was just sitting there and he hit him in his face for absolutely nothing because he's got little fucking balls and a badge. And that's it. And that shit right there is now our country.
Yeah. I mean, the way I took it is like, hey, we don't like you, don't come over here. And that's cool.
Well,
you know, we're going to pass right by here. And
but they
I don't even want to be there.
But they show this. They show the graphic nature of the police manhandling us. Manhandling us. ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, all of them, CNN, they show everybody. Motherfuckers show of the manhandling us. So the imagery is that we are a problem. That we need to be wrestled down. That we need to be manhandled in order to maintain. And now that he's, sent out troops to Washington, D.C., to police these neighborhoods, to put excessive strain on these neighborhoods in order to get them to crack and fold so that he can execute the next part of, whatever plan he has. These people out here in the middle of America, Leeds, Alabama, West Georgia and all of that shit, these people out here are living their heyday. You feel me? Mm-hmm. They're out here living what their ancestors really wanted to live. You know what I mean? Which is the rise of them and their ideologies, however hateful they may be, because it really is a hypocritical ideology also. Because now they're starting to teach that slavery was kinder and gentler, which everybody knows was bullshit. That's complete and total bullshit. But they're making it now that not only slavery was kinder and gentler, but that we benefited from being enslaved, and now people are benefiting from us being incarcerated.
Where is that? That's here in Alabama.
Well,
not here, but where we passed. Well,
we went through Leeds and Alabama as a whole. Most of the districts.
That's the teachings.
They're Confederates.
No, but you were just saying how slavery is that all in
no, that's that. Well, I'm just saying a lot of the Republican governors are starting to adapt the ideology and put forth in their school board, like Ron DeSantis,
right,
here in Florida. We're not in Florida anymore.
Right.
Ron DeSantis in Florida. We're still Florida residents, but our governor wanted to sign into law for their Board of Education to put part of their curriculum that they don't have to listen to things about if a white child or any quote unquote, well, not really quote unquote, but we know what it is. If a white child feels uncomfortable talking about something like Ruby Bridges and the shit that white people did to Ruby Bridges, then she gets to say that she's uncomfortable, and then they can't teach that.
Well. We're still passed through some signs that they tell you, hey, some historical site over this way.
But how long is because there was a lot of marches that Martin Luther King did a lot of his. Birmingham was a huge civil rights stop.
Although we didn't stop like that, we just pulled over at the gas station.
It's a huge civil rights stop. But think even still in the South, with the exception of Atlanta, because we just commandeered Atlanta. Atlanta belongs to black folks. With the exception of Atlanta, a lot of these cities, a lot of these conservative states, the counties and the districts are still largely controlled, even though this district might be black people. The elected official is white. You know what I'm saying? So they don't necessarily give a fuck about the plight or the condition of the people in their district, or their specific goal is to keep the people in their specific district or in their relegated space. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you poor, we don't want you to come up. So this is why I'm going to be the head of this district. I'm running for city council. Vote for me, and they'll get elected. Because one thing I know about conservatives is they fucking cheat, and motherfuckers can't say they don't. Motherfuckers cannot say that they fucking don't. If they don't believe they cheat, like I keep saying, I got a bridge I want to fucking sell. You a fucking idiot. So one thing I know about, I'm not saying that's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen that. I mean, if you use common sense, if you look at that motherfucker, you cheated. Period. That's the only way this shit could have happened, is if you motherfucking cheated. Period. So, and I'm not talking about this past election or whatever. I'm just talking about in general. Because I feel like George W. Bush cheated. But hey, that's just me. But at the same token, as we're riding through Alabama, we did feel very, very, very cautious until we got to Buc-ee's.
Listen.
Until we got to fucking...
Buc-ee's was it.
Buc-ee's was popping.
Babe, I was in there like if I was at a damn amusement park. I was
Listen.
like, come here, look at this. Buc-ee over here, Buc-ee over there.
Buc-ee's is like the UN. It was like
yes.
walking into the UN building. It was
I
very...
think that's what it was. It was more of the... It was the gear, like all
right.
the products. But more... that when I walked in, it was a mix.
Yeah,
of
I did not
people.
feel
like,
ostracized.
wow.
I didn't feel ostracized when we walked in
because we just passed.
It was travelers from everywhere. There were even foreign travelers.
Yeah, because imagine we just passed somewhere where they were waving the Confederate flag, and then here you wait a few more miles and you pulled over into this gas station.
This oasis. Yeah, this oasis
poppin'.
of like culture. I mean, like it really is.
Not only is it popping, it's just great marketing, by the way, because they get me on the way in.
Listen,
on the way in, I was
Buc-ee
like,
is the motherfucking man.
But then the second doors open up,
yeah,
and it's the smell of barbecue. Not
listen,
only barbecue, brisket.
It's like brisket. Well, they got everything. They got pulled pork. They got chicken, but they're known, quote unquote. I think they're known for their brisket, which was great. It was great.
Oh, but. I was like, this whole time I was like, on this trip, I'm not going to really eat no meat. And I was like, well.
That's out the window.
Well, because that man was yelling, fresh brisket.
Yeah.
Sir, what?
Yeah, they yell out in the store, fresh brisket. They all wear like little cowboy hats. Listen, Buc-ee's got it popping. If you're traveling and you got a chance to stop at a but now we love loves. But if you see a Buc-ee's, go to Buc-ee's, man. It's definitely an experience. I mean, it's like 200 gas pumps. I mean, like it, and there's no tractor trailers, no trucks. So, but we were able to drive our Class A RV, which was, thank you very much for that, Buc-ee's, because it was definitely an experience. So,
but even that same night. We laid it down because we were like,
we ended up staying.
We're gonna stay here.
Yeah, we're just gonna stay here at Buc-ee's and rest.
It was a whole party.
Yeah, it was cool. I went in.
Music,
Listen, I got up like 2 other times and went inside Buc-ee's and just walked around in Buc-ee's. You know what I'm saying? I got me another pulled pork sandwich. You know what I'm saying? But it was, it was still, we slept. It was, sleeping was pretty good. It was pretty good, but it was still a little warm. But
no, at one point.
Yeah, and then at one point,
you got up
like you got a little blanket.
You jumped up. Maybe you don't remember this one, but you jumped up, and I was like, it's just. You jumped up and you were like, I was like, what's wrong? You were like, I think somebody's knocking at the door. And I was like, no, that's some music, but it's because it's what they were playing. It was loud, and I think it's some motorcycles had pulled up. And they had music going. But it was like a nightclub. Yeah,
I remember waking up to like, listen, I woke up to like Carly Simon's He's So Vain or something. And then they played some other something. And they played like a bunch of classics. They played Michael McDonald, Keep forget nothing loves anymore.
Yeah, I was having dreams of 80s.
Yeah, it was like
Of the
I was like,
80s.
yo, and not for nothing. It wasn't like it was like they let the song end. No, the songs were mixed. It was a fucking DJ or something. It was a DJ mix that somebody was listening to of all these classic, good old like songs, and I was laying there. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, okay, and it was like into like something, like the Daz Band or some shit like that. Like, what? This is fucking dope out here at Buc-ee's. At Buc-ee's in the parking lot. So
I mean, it was crowded. Then all of a sudden, I woke up at 3, and it was peaceful.
yeah.
But regardless, it was a good time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, man. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Shout out to Buc-ee's for being a really good travel stop. Being, just
RV friendly.
RV friendly. I mean, just a spot where where travelers can kind of let their hair down. They don't really feel so threatened in a threatening and a threatening environment. I'm talking about black folks in particular, but black and brown folks are people who are not necessarily familiar with the Confederate ideology. Like I said, white folks that even if they don't get down with that ideology, they don't feel threatened by that ideology.
Right.
They're not.
We saw it in there.
Yeah.
Nobody gave off. Nobody cared. Nobody really cared. Everybody.
What I'm saying is they don't feel threatened the way that we feel threatened riding
I thought you
through.
were saying going into Buc-ee's.
No.
I'm
talking about the
riding through.
The entire. When you see this symbolism as you're a traveler on the highways of America,
it's different.
These are the highways.
They don't have conversations with their daughter like I had to.
Right. I mean, they don't have to. I mean, I don't want to assume that it's all of them because I'm sure, but a lot of them I know that. I mean, it's not that they're supposed to
think.
Maybe they don't think. They're oblivious to it because it's not something that they really subscribe to. It doesn't really necessarily affect them on that level unless they are in a maybe they might.
Unless the tables have turned. Now you're in Humboldt Park.
Right. Or you in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
And you're feeling some type of way.
Exactly.
So
and now all of a sudden you feel threatened.
I feel when I'm on. I have more.
But see, but the thing about it is, they feel threatened by our culture because we don't put up symbolism of hate.
No, it's just we're proud of who we are, so we put up our flag.
They're proud of who they are, so they put up their flag.
Right.
So we can't really necessarily. But what does their ideology at the end of the day? What is their ideology, and what does it stand for? What was it built on? It was built on racism. It was built on white supremacy. And that's what they want to see it return to. And that's why their hatred towards other races is so fucking strong. That's why when we roll into wherever the fuck we roll into, that wasn't a Buc-ee's.
Stares.
We get the hard stares.
We do get the stares. And that's, at this point, I mean, I'm this way now. And I said this yesterday. Hey, I'll wave if you wave, but I'm not. Sometimes on purpose, honestly, I wave immediately because I know that you don't want to wave back. I'm just being an ass. But I mean, regardless, it's I guess in the mood.
Well, me. If we get the stares, if we get to look too long, I'll say something. I mean, you know me.
Oh yeah, you wave and you say hello.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? What the fuck you looking at? Hi. I might even run up to your face. What's going on? I'm gonna say something to you. If you wave, because I'm gonna put you on the spot.
But yeah,
So either you're gonna stop looking at me, or you're gonna wave and say hi.
Or you're gonna be nice.
Either you're gonna look away.
It doesn't take anything to say hi.
But that's the thing. That's something. It's just a gesture of saying hi is a great way to gauge whether or not these people, how these people feel about you from the get go.
Well, yes.
Because a human being, if a human being waves and says hi, technically another human being will wave and say hi. If I wave and say hi, and that human being, instead of waving to say hi, turns and looks the other way, and doesn't say hi or acknowledge, it is a clear indication that he is, biased against me. He doesn't
want to be bothered.
He doesn't want to be not bothered. He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Well,
or
doesn't want to be bothered. Is just wondering, who the hell this person is in our area. So on and so forth. How dare you come here? How dare you? I don't care nothing. I don't care to say anything about you. And the reason why they believe all that is because they believe everything Fox News spits out. That's the bottom line. I'm going to tell you the problem with the conservative party. The main problem is Fox fucking News. Simple as that. Fox News is just a bag of fucking lies. Not just, you know what I mean? CNN is, they have their faults also, but Fox News, deliberately, they push racism. It is a racist machine, and that's all they do is they push out racist misinformation and dis and misinformation. You know what I'm saying? They're just not a good news outlet because they fuel division in our country. You know what I'm saying? They promote it. They revel in it. They want it. They want white America to split and say this is white America. This America land belongs to white people, even though they fucking, like I said, how you gonna claim some shit that was stole? You stole this shit. You know what I'm saying? You stole it from the indigenous people and you want to claim it as an all white land? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of fucking nerve. But these people, they fall in line with that ideology because Fox News has done such a great fucking job making them believe that this is their land of origin. It's bullshit. So, as we move along, what's the next state? We went to Tennessee.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of Alabama.
But before out of Alabama, that's where you went through the mountains. Your first little chunk of mountains.
Yeah, right.
And then we came up to Buc-ee's again.
Was that Buc-ee's? It was before Nashville?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, because then after that, it was just regular gas station.
No, because we went to 3 Buc-ee's.
Oh, did we? I thought we went to.
We went to 3 Buc-ee's.
Okay.
There was 3 Buc-ee's. There was one in Athens, and then there was one more. Or Athena, or whatever it is. Something at the top of Alabama.
Okay, and then we were enter into Tennessee.
Yeah, and again, shout out to Buc-ee's for being dope. I had another fucking 2 fucking sandwiches.
Yeah, I gave up that day. I was like, I'm just gonna have a blueberry. So yeah, and then in there we entered Tennessee.
And then we went into Tennessee, and I gotta say, man, I did expect a lot more symbolism in Tennessee that we saw.
Right.
We didn't see a lot of symbolism.
We did see rocks.
We saw a lot of fucking rocks. We saw a lot of motherfucking rocks.
A lot.
But
it was nice.
What we did see also is a lot of fucking bars and a lot of fucking stages and a lot of fucking people walking around downtown.
A lot. It was a lot to take in. It was a lot to take in. Well, I'm going to speak from my experience. I guess sometimes I do suffer from ADHD because I'm trying to take this all in.
Right.
I mean, first of all, we've been in Lake City. So it's not popping like that. So now we just entered the street. We just landed on the street, bam.
Yeah.
And then now
it was a lot.
It was, but it was great. I was taking it all in.
There was a lot of energy, a lot of good
buildings, good structures. That's where it got me.
Yeah,
first.
the architecture, the layout of the city was really nice.
Yeah, the layout, and then the music I didn't care for, but more I enjoyed the inside of each building and how each building had something going on. I definitely
enjoyed the inside of the building. You can see the old history of Nashville.
There was a building at the corner. I forgot whose that was. Yeah, all the country stars have their names are on the bars in Nashville, and all the bars are like 5 and 6 floors of fucking alcohol. And on every floor there's it's like 3 bars on every floor, and every bar has a fucking rooftop, and then there's bands on every stage. There's a stage on every floor. There's live performance every single place in Nashville. But I mean, I won't say that I'm not a fan of country music. It's not my first choice of music. I mean, it's not that it was bad. It's just I was
too
like,
much.
okay.
It was country music overload. There was nothing else.
Well, that's all you heard, and it
was everywhere, and it was running together, and it was just like it was the theme to everything.
It's too much.
And I just can't.
Well, not too much. It's just I was trying to take it all in,
I'm very respectful of their talent and everything because it does. Some of them are very talented, but you could see like some of the empty bars where they had like a live dude on. Yes. Like, all right, you just started. You're at the bottom totem pole. You're either on your way up or you're on your way down.
Right. And he was at a nice place too. The thing is, like, if you're at this nice building, you better come through and like.
But you could see if you're a musician, a live musician, especially if you got any kind of Nashville is not a bad place to go musically.
Right.
You know, it's not a bad place to be musically because, you know, there's a lot going on there.
There is a lot, but there's also a lot of drinking.
There's a lot of fucking alcoholism.
We saw women walking sideways.
Oh my God! You know how
Like
people
ladies.
fucking lean their head forward, like just bobbing forward, trying to get to the next bar. Just come
They
on,
were
y'all.
having a good
They
time,
sell.
but I was
they
like,
sell more
please.
alcohol. We met up with your coworker, or
Right.
Austin. He told us that they sell more. They sell more alcohol in Nashville,
that
on that strip
stretch.
on that strip of Broadway in Nashville than any place else in the United States.
That's crazy.
That's fucking
But I
crazy.
believe it. I saw
I
it.
absolutely continue 100. But it's every night. They got tractor pulls
All
downtown. They got a whole tractor downtown.
Yeah.
Downtown on the middle of Broadway, we got a tractor. Not only do we got 4 or 5 tractors, and we
Yes.
are pulling about 50 people per tractor on a flatbed around while we get their ass fucking tarred and feathers out here in the middle of fucking Broadway. And they have school buses and people just running around. All you hear is woo. Everybody's got on fucking cowboy boots, white cowboy boots. All the ladies are wearing white cowboy
And
boots.
the shorts, yeah, either shorts or skirts. I mean,
And I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
the hats.
I'm just not really into the whole country fashion. I'm sorry. You know, I don't want to be
I mean,
disrespectful.
we tried it. We went into the store. We looked.
Yeah,
at
I
some
mean, we looked at
boots.
some of the boots were okay, but I'm more into a Durango boot. I'm not really into cowboy boots. I'm just really not. And people are like, oh, they're super. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
I've never dressed like
I just-
anything that I saw on the stores.
I just don't. The whole Western wear
Mm-hmm.
cowboy look. That's just not for me. You know what I mean? And I don't knock anybody who's into it.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I know some people who are into it. And that's fine for them. But for me, that whole Western, and it's just that was one of the things that kind of turned me off about Nashville. It was just so much. You could buy a
the
motherfucking.
music was like,
It was after a while. It was like country music, Disney World from hell. That's eventually like how. That's how I felt.
I was more into the rooftops. That's why I enjoyed just being up
The
on the
rooftops
rooftop
were cool.
because then I can look out into
Yeah.
the city and at the people down below. You know, I was like, okay, whatever, they're having a good
It's
time.
good people
But
watching.
it was good. But I like buildings. I like to look
Yeah.
at the buildings. So
Yeah,
I mean, I
structure and
enjoyed
architecture.
it.
I like to look around. I like to ride
this is
around
cool.
the other parts of the city to see what the structure
Which
of the
is
city,
what we
where the
did
historic
next
parts.
day.
Yeah, we got in the car and we decided that we after a long day of working, we decided we were going to go into Nashville just to see what was going on, what was popping with the rest of the city downtown. And so we drove up and down the blocks. Nashville is dense. They've got several blocks long,
nice.
several blocks wide. What was it? Vanderbilt University we went up by.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was
over
really
there.
nice.
The park.
was really nice. That
We
over
got
there.
out. We
What-
got out. We parked, and then we got
They
out.
have
And
like
we started.
they have a replica of like the Acropolis or the Parthenon, one of those.
Parthenon.
Parthenon. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the replicas of the Parthenon, and the park itself was just really nice. The grass
Yes.
was
You were
wonderful.
like, take your shoes off.
Yeah,
walk
because
out this
listen,
grass.
living in Florida, if you live in Florida, if you live in Florida in the grass,
You
the grass
can't
will
walk
fucking
on the
kill your
grass.
motherfucking ass.
I was so shocked about that because that's what I missed. Like here, I mean, or even there.
Yeah,
Immediately, I can tell the difference
you
in the
could
grass.
smell it in the air.
Yeah, babe, there was people laying on the grass.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Just
that's what
the
I'm
grass,
used to.
just the grass, being able to sit in the grass and having the grass not fuck you up when you sit in it.
Ugh.
The grass in Florida will fuck your ass up
Yeah,
if
it
you
has,
ain't
like,
careful.
what are
And
they
it
called?
had fucking sand spurs, fucking fire ants, fucking
Yeah, them.
all kind of shit, spiders,
Spiders,
all
and you
listen,
can't see, by the way,
listen,
until nighttime.
shit out there trying to get you. Florida's trying to fucking get you. From the time you cross over the fucking border, everything in that bitch is trying to get your ass.
What is it? Somebody just told us you guys have dinosaurs
Yeah,
over there. We have
dinosaurs.
coyotes.
Yeah, you guys have coyotes. You're scared of the coyotes. You guys have dinosaurs. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It really is ridiculous down there. But Florida's Florida's good for some things. It's my second home. You know what I mean? Because my family's from there.
Right.
Although I'm from the north. My family's from the south.
But yeah, I mean, and I get it. Yeah, Tennessee, Nashville.
Yeah.
It was cool.
But
because I'm glad that we went to the other side of
but
town
then,
too.
at the same time, I thought about this. Nashville was where we saw these people pull up in the U-Haul truck and get out of the back of the motherfucking U-Haul truck and march their ass
and that
down
was
the
the
street.
back of my mind every
And
time you know
that's
we
the
were
same
like, we're in
police force.
Nashville.
That's the same police force that allowed it.
But we didn't see anything like that.
But we didn't really see anything. We did notice that Nashville was a very world class city. There was black folks, Latin folks. There was everybody was in that.
We went
yeah,
to,
there was
everybody.
super diverse. We went to I forgot the name of the Hattie's Hot Chicken.
Yes.
And that was the first time I've ever had
The
Nashville.
lemonade.
The lemonade is everything. I mean, listen, the lemonade refill is everything. Is everything. The free refill.
I know we're walking down the street with our lemonade while everybody was like
drunk as hell. Drunk
yeah,
as fuck,
like,
as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we're good.
I mean, people are fucking mashed out there in the streets. I mean, mashed. And the traffic, and from what Austin said, it's like that every single day.
So
There's no slow. And we
went back on a Monday.
Yeah, we was there Sunday. I was like, it was popping. And I was like, this is a slow Sunday.
Right.
I'm in the food and beverage industry, or used to be in the food and beverage industry. And, everybody knows Friday and Saturday, those are the nights. And Sunday is the lean off night. It was popping on Sunday.
It was gone.
I mean, and then we went back Monday, and usually Monday is just and it was just as popping out there. Live bands. I mean, it was just, and that's what it is. Like one of the live music capitals. There's a huge live music scene. Like I said, every bar is like 6 floors. There's a stage on every bar, and there's somebody on every fucking stage all the time. There's hundreds. There's got to be hundreds of stages.
But Monday, while everybody was getting their drink on, we were over there at the park.
Yeah,
we saw some cool stuff. We even stopped for some ice cream.
We stopped for some ice cream. The ice cream, I forgot the name of that place though.
But we also, where the ice cream spot was, I don't remember. It was pretty good. It was all right. But where we stopped in that area over there, they had older bars. Not older bars, but you
like
could tell,
local
maybe,
bars, where the locals go.
Right.
Instead
it reminds me of the place in Orlando.
Right.
That you drive through.
Like Ivanhoe.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we're over here. This is the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's kind of
and maybe some tourists.
Yeah, it might be some tourists. There was a couple of hotels over there, so but it was more of a locals part of town. Where these are the locals that go to these bars right here, and these people are, they still have the country music theme, but you could also see that there was, regular people, and that was more towards. That was out towards Vanderbilt.
Out there, but actually when we were leaving downtown where we parked in downtown.
Right.
As we were leaving still in downtown, you were like, hey, I hear that. And then you're like, there's some black people over there. But you're like, the music is different.
Yeah.
Remember, they were sitting down. It was a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
The fans were pissed.
Yeah, we had that's how we made it out, is the fact that the music it was more urban music.
Right.
And that's what was like, oh, wait, hold on. There are some conglomerates. And it was good to see. And that was one thing that I thought was great to see. It was right in that park across the street from Vanderbilt University was a group of black people, some students, I'm assuming some weren't, but a group of black people, a lot of black people out there grilling and barbecuing and loving and laughing and cooing on each other. And, I was like, hey.
But you saw a mix.
It was a mix.
I saw a black girl and a white girl sitting down eating together.
Yeah, there was a whole Islamic family that were taking pictures in front of the Parthenon that didn't speak any English. They were from the Middle East. And it was a very, like I said, it was that I was pleasantly surprised that Nashville was this world-class type city. You know what I mean?
Right,
but
a lot of restaurants.
If it was a lot of good, it looked like a lot of great restaurants. You smell motherfucking steak everywhere. It was motherfucking steak everywhere. As soon as, you could step out, you open the car door, it's some fucking...
Well, we took the top off the Jeep.
Yeah, we took the top off the Jeep. So
that.
it just
aroma.
smelled great. It smelled great. It was good food. We actually we stayed by the Grand Ole Opry though, which is like staying on International Drive, some shit. Times Square. It's all like,
Well, no, because the hotel, we never made it in there, but that's the thing.
Yeah, the hotel looked nice.
We were like, okay, yeah, whatever. We knew that there might be some history in the hotel, whatever, but for me, it's okay if I missed that.
Yeah, I wanted to see.
I want to go back and see the town.
I wanted to see Nashville. I didn't want to see the Grand Ole Opry.
Right.
I wanted to see Nashville. So, mission accomplished on seeing Nashville. And then after Nashville, we left and drove through Kentucky. We rode through Louisville. It was kind of a blip. We didn't really even stop.
Wait, but Louisville. Is that?
Louisville.
Louisville.
Whatever, baby.
Yeah, I was trying to get past that. So anyways, wait. That's where the road.
Oh
So
yeah.
don't forget about the road.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Remember that I said I've been through Indiana?
Yeah.
I've been warning him. I've been warning you. Hey,
So
65.
So we took a highway, 65,
rough.
and listen. It is high. It could be one of the front runners, number one contenders for worst highway in America.
Right.
It is.
Now I've noticed that now.
It's horrible.
This time around, I'm
absolutely
like, wow.
horrible. Miles and miles and miles and motherfucking miles. With just bad road. And that's one thing I did notice as we rode through a lot of these areas at how poor the infrastructure itself was.
Yes.
Just bad infrastructure.
And
that leads me to believe, where are you putting the money? Where's the money going?
Right.
What's it going into?
Or
Because it's not going into education, because Louisiana is one of the fucking one of the least educated. So I don't even think it's growing crops. It's for the people who grow crops.
That's
and the
what I'm saying. Well,
corporations
it's going to the
and some of these
crops.
these rich fat cat politicians that are just down there getting rich like they were doing back in the day. That's all they're doing, is they're making money. They're making money for themselves. They don't give. They have to do certain things for their, of course, but they funnel funds into other projects and programs so that they can get subsidies and kickbacks and all kinds of shit like that.
Well, my thing on the highway, I've noticed this throughout the years. Even now, construction. So there's construction site, but there's no one.
Oh yeah, you noticed that there was a lot of fucking road construction signs, a lot of fucking, but no fucking people. No fucking people.
Where we saw that is when we did enter finally, but we're not there yet. But when we entered the blue state, immediately.
Yeah, when we entered a blue state, and I'll jump ahead a little bit, but when we entered a blue state, you could immediately see how the infrastructure changed.
And they were working on the road.
They were the
that
roads.
Was the first time I saw construction
roads.
Workers.
Yeah, it was the first time in the whole trip. Even though throughout the whole trip we did see construction signs, things under construction. We didn't see any workers until we got up to a blue state, which we did see people out working, fixing and improving the infrastructure.
Yeah, because even in the one that we came up to traffic, that was in Alabama, but they weren't working. They were on the side of the road.
Them motherfuckers was playing fucking volleyball. They was out there fucking cornholing. That's what the fuck they was out there doing, drinking they was drinking motherfucking Bud Light and playing fucking cornhole.
No.
They weren't doing anything.
But when we
it wasn't a lot of them. It wasn't a lot of. They were just kind of sitting there. They weren't doing anything. They weren't doing a goddamn thing.
And that's what I noticed. It's just construction all the time. No one's ever at it, or the bumpy road. I'm not going to forget Road 65, but I had it wrong.
I'll never be on it again.
I know, but I had it wrong. I thought in my mind, because I've experienced this in the car, after Indianapolis.
Right.
But on this road trip, it showed me, hell no.
So, speaking of, it was Indianapolis that we crossed from Kentucky over into Indianapolis, and we saw a barn. And the barn had a giant number 14 on the side of it. And if you're anybody who, a giant number 14, if you're anybody who knows and kind of does any kind of research about white supremacist groups, I have done some research. You know about there's these 14 words, and that those 14 words are, I guess, a kind of oath to their white supremacy in order to protect, for our culture to protect. They got some sort of 14 words. And so as we're riding by, I saw this 14, and just to be double checking and make sure, I asked my wife to Google the number 14 as it refers to these things. Now, she did come up with, the number 14 and some biblical references, but
I don't think that's what
more
that meant
more
there.
commonly.
Well, let me not say that I don't know.
Well, more commonly,
Right.
the number 14 as of recent. And it was a fresh gas coat of paint. Let's just face it. It was a fresh coat of paint, the number 14. That's I'm willing to bet that's what the connotation was. You know what I mean? Not the religious connotation, but
Right.
the sworn oath of white supremacy. One of those, and also the 14 and the 88. The 88, which is Heil Hitler.
Yeah,
that's
right.
another
That's the
one. So you'll see some of them. Sometimes you'll
mentioned.
see them together, the 14/88, the Heil Hitler. Or sometimes you'll see the 1488, and then you'll see like cross bolts, like lightning bolts. That's another symbolism. And as we're riding through the middle of America, we're absolutely seeing this symbolism becoming more prevalent. If it's not the Confederate flag, it's other white supremacist. And this is in Indianapolis. This isn't not Indianapolis. Well, I guess it was outside of. It was
as we
were coming into.
Yeah. Right.
This is a northern state. This isn't a southern state. Indianapolis is a northern state. It's not the South. So this is a northern state with not necessarily the Confederate ideology, but a white supremacist ideology that is posted on the side of a major highway for people to, and if you're not
to see.
exactly, but also if you're not informed, if you're somebody like me, or if you're like a black person or a Latin person who is uninformed about
Right.
these symbols, you'll ride through these areas and not really necessarily recognize where you are.
Right.
So it's very important that now we start to get familiar with these symbols and where they are and where in the country they are in order to keep ourselves safe. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I mean, instead of doing that, I just told her on our road trips, hey, this state, this state, this state.
Yeah,
Which
but
is gonna be
I'm
fast.
glad we
quick.
rode through. I'm glad
Yeah.
we rode through because now we know.
But now we know. But
But-
I mean, you kind of. I don't even know how to explain it. The energy, for so long I've heard people say be careful through these states or whatever. But now
Yeah.
I kind of understand
You
because
see.
when I would get out to put gas in the car, the looks.
Yeah.
The looks tell it all.
Right, the looks say
you're
it all.
looking at me like I
And
just
they're
fell
being-
from the earth.
And these people are being
sky.
empowered. They are
Right.
being emboldened. They are being empowered. They feel now. I mean, more and more social media clips. You see people just reaching out and grabbing people now, pushing them out of the way because they just don't like them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Confronting a group of boys, and then they'll just push one of them because they don't like them. That's going to start happening more, and that person is going to get off. But the group of young boys, one of the young boys laid that motherfucker out, by the way.
Yeah.
That was the end of the story.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, Indianapolis. Actually, I would say we didn't say this about Tennessee. People waved.
In Indianapolis.
Wasn't it? No, nobody waved in Indianapolis. Not to me. In Nashville,
Yeah, people
Well-
wave. Yeah, Nashville. People were friendly in
they
Nashville.
were waving like at the
People
campground.
waved at the campground.
And I
Hey,
was
how
like,
you doing?
So I would wave back.
Yeah,
I
and
was
that's
like-
it. And then that's the thing.
Because you don't have to have a Jeep.
Right.
The one thing about having the Jeep, though,
Is we get a lot of
teaching-
attention.
Well, not that. It's teaching us this whole peace thing.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
want.
a-
I don't want to change the subject, but real quick,
That's true, though.
that's how I felt. So it was odd to me that somebody waved to me, and I wasn't in the Jeep. I was just
Right.
I was just. We were driving. Oh, you were driving the RV
Right.
in Tennessee,
Right.
and as we were driving through the small roads, people would wave.
Wave at us too. But see, people wave at RVs but I think they waved until they realized.
But even at the campground.
Oh goddamn! Well, yeah, true.
And
At the-
even while we were driving, and those that didn't have a Jeep were waving.
Yeah.
And I was like, well.
there are people out here, and then, like I said, this ideology, they are trying to permeate this ideology. That's why they have the big symbolism everywhere. You got the number 14, you got the fucking Confederate
Right.
flags, big, beautiful billboards and all kinds of shit like that throughout the course of your trip as you're traveling. So they are trying to like actively bolster and uplift this ideology. They're trying to. They're doing this shit on fucking purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's because they need their numbers to grow. They need their numbers to grow in order to get strong, to gain strength. They need their numbers to grow. They need their movement to be strong. What we need to do is create our own movement and not give up on it. You know what I'm saying? We need to create a counter movement. There needs to be a different movement. Just a movement to keep ourselves safety. It's safe.
Mm-hmm.
But
Indianapolis, nobody waved.
We didn't
That's what I was
do anything. I was just about to say we didn't do any. Indianapolis, the energy that we got going into Indianapolis, and even kind of just from the people, nobody waved. There was nobody really into anything that we were. I mean, just we didn't leave the campground.
And we did to go for a walk.
We went for a walk.
I mean, we've walked the most in the past few days than we have in the past year in the town we were living in.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
that's the truth. That's the truth.
Hey, we're getting our steps in.
For at least we're trying to get our steps in a little bit.
We have. But in Indianapolis, it was kind of dry. It was blah, which I figured it would be. And I was just like, it's whatever. We're here just.
It wasn't really appealing to me.
It wasn't.
It gave me standoffish energy. It gave me energy like, what are you doing here? How do you know about this kind of stuff? Nobody really waved. People looked at us. There were people who looked at it and stared at us.
To us is because you said something back, like the people next to us.
Right, that's because I say shit.
Right,
I'll make you say shit. Either you're gonna turn away from me, you're gonna wave and say hi.
Right, and you got a lot of people carrying conversation with you, even if it was short. Mm-hmm. What we failed to say is shout out to the guy that helped us in Nashville when we first arrived. Very kind man. To help us how
to get our Jeep off of the because we fucked that up altogether.
He was watching us. Like, let me go talk to these people and help them out. We were struggling.
Yeah, we struggled.
That was our first time pulling in. Had the Jeep a bit slanted, so he taught us something. So then when we pulled into Indianapolis, hey, we were pros.
Yeah,
we pulled in. You pulled in straight. Now I keep saying we. I didn't drive.
Well, you were there for moral support.
Yeah,
babe.
No, babe. At one point I said we beat thee. You told me we beat thee nothing. No, we were going down like a hill, and to me that. It feels, like, hey.
So,
great.
one thing that happened to us, though, as I'm driving, the road was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And the battery pole just jumped right off, and the RV shut off when I was going 65 miles per hour. And I was in the right lane, but I'm on the interstate, and the battery pole jumped off. And
we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about it.
I was like, fuck!
Yeah.
The battery, the coach is off.
It was intense.
The coach is off. Everything is off. Everything is off.
And
I had to, there was a
guardrail,
right. And I just had to.
Well, you had trucks.
I had trucks blowing by me at 70, 75. Cars, nobody really caring. I didn't have any power, so I didn't have any lights. So nobody knew what the hell was happening. I just thought somebody was going to slam into the back of us. And I started, luckily people started realizing I pulled over.
I jumped up too, then started waving.
Yeah, I tried to put on the hazards, and the hazards didn't. And I just leaned I just kind of leaned it into the breakdown lane and got out for a second and was finally able to assess that it was the battery pole that jumped off, and the battery pole, and I just, I put it back on there.
That's because the road is shitty.
Yeah, because the road, well,
it's so
because
bumpy.
it was two factors. The road is shitty, and the battery pole was a little loose.
Yeah, I get that, but the road.
But it never did that before riding around. I mean, it never did that before anywhere.
But we bounced a lot on 65.
We had for 3 years. Yeah, we bounced a lot. We was a bouncy puppy.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be bouncing.
Yeah, that's the fucking road.
If we're on this road, we should not be bouncing.
I was wanting to talk to the motherfucking governor. Hey, dude, what the fuck is this? Fix this shit. But, we were able to pull off to a travel stop, and I was able to tape it down so that we could continue the trip. But
it was stressful. Very stressful.
So after Indiana, I decided, instead of continuing on this fucking piss poor highway into the city of Chicago, that I wanted to go west again and then cut north at another highway. So it was 70 that we went west on.
I think so.
And I'll tell you what, from Indiana, the end of Kentucky, and the beginning of Indiana, to where we are now, I've never seen so much motherfucking corn in my life. I'm just gonna say it.
I know.
If you're riding through here, if you've never been through here, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful to see just green fields upon fields upon fields. I mean, literally hundreds of miles of corn. Nothing but corn. Nothing but
all
corn.
the way. I mean,
all the
for
way.
miles.
Hundreds of miles.
And I'm used to seeing that because of the roads I've taken. And so,
Like this
since
entire.
you haven't seen it, to see you, like, because you were, I mean, every other second you were like, look at all this corn.
It was so
but
fucking
that's
crazy.
how I've been. But I'm used to it because, as you can see out here in the burbs,
Right.
where we're at,
Right.
this is what I'm used to seeing.
By the way, we're surrounded by motherfucking corn.
Corn,
So
right.
everybody, just so you
and
know.
so once you leave the city of Chicago,
It's fucking
I always
corn.
called it cornland. Cornfield land. I was just like, where we're going?
Cornfield land.
Because you just got to go through.
But I'll say this. It's beautiful.
It's nice, but then you got to dig deep into. Okay,
Right.
it's nice.
So
But what is its purpose?
we needed to get gas, and we were kind of hungry, so we stopped in southern Illinois. And for people who don't know, even though Illinois is a blue state, Illinois has the most sundown towns at one point. I know this is, at one point had more sundown towns than any place else in the United States, even all the southern states. Illinois had more sundown towns than any place else in the United States. So I forgot the name of the town that we pulled into, but there was a gas station with a Subway attached to it, and there was a McDonald's next door, like a little
It didn't have
hotel.
much.
There was an antique.
Well, I mean, there's some history there. There was signs for the historical
Yeah, there was-
downtown.
there
So
was
in that
some-
town, there was something,
But we didn't go look or
but
try
where
to
we were,
investigate.
This is very small.
It was like a little
things.
car dealership or whatever. It was super small. It was totally.
It was actually a Jeep.
Listen, it was totally Smallville.
Right.
It was totally like Smallville from Superman or something like that. Just nothing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what
fucking
everybody
nothing
said.
here. And my wife said she was hungry, so we went inside. And first of all, it took a few minutes for anybody to. There was a bell, ring the bell for service. So I rang the bell, and a lady came out. And I just want to say, as a food and beverage, former food and beverage professional, that her hospitality skills were through the fucking floor, piss poor. What can I do for you? And my wife just says, as polite as she could, I'd like to have a chicken salad sandwich. And it's and she said, well, there'll be another sandwich. And I said, nope, there sure won't be.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because I just don't do it.
As she didn't make eye contact.
She didn't make any eye contact. She had such disdain for you.
Well, she didn't make eye contact because at some point she had to, right?
Right.
To know who
who was
were.
ordering the sandwich,
Who we were.
what we needed.
Right.
Right.
So, but she made it in such a
She
quick
just
second.
looked up and looked right back down.
But
just,
from that second, her brain and however
Yeah.
she thinks and her thinking process, it kicked in.
yeah.
And she was in fucking survival mode.
I don't even think she
Not
was in
a
survival mode.
No, she was
just
in hate mode.
Yeah, she was in hate
Don't
mode.
keep it real.
Just she was in hate mode.
You were in hate mode, and it's
And
all
that's
right.
why I know. And I said it as stern and with my fucking whole chest as I could. Nope. Will there be
I
another
felt
sandwich?
that.
Nope. Not at all, bitch. And I just left it.
And the boy
And I
that
backed
came out.
away.
Now the
I
boy,
backed away. Now he was.
not a boy. Let me not say a boy. Young
man.
He came out.
And
He
he-
at least made an effort.
He made an effort.
He said hi.
Yeah.
He wasn't rude. He
Yeah.
thanked us. You
Yeah.
know, thank you.
And I took 2 big steps backwards from the counter. Just on some nope. And I, unfortunately, my wife, she was hungry. I'm not going to, let her not eat, but, I'm not going to let you not eat, but I went next door to motherfucking McDonald's.
Right.
And we don't eat McDonald's. But today, you know what, goddammit?
And
I deserve a
McDonald's
break
was
today.
nice.
I deserve a motherfucking break.
The chick behind,
Yeah.
she got
Listen,
she got
even-
on board
Listen,
with
the white girl behind us. Behind the counter, she was on board. She gave us a
Yeah.
little fucking. She gave us a free fucking drink. Told us how to fucking save some money if you do this, da da da,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Blah,
she
blah,
had
blah,
a
blah.
great sense of
She had
humor.
a great sense of humor. She had a great personality.
She was never like,
And she was one of these small town people. So even in the small towns, even amongst those people, there are people who understand that, the ideology of hatred is nonsensical. It's bullshit. and people are people. You know what I'm saying? And to see McDonald's, McDonald's was diverse.
This is how I
they had
see
few
it.
people at McDonald's.
It don't matter who you are. When you poop, it stink.
Yeah, when you bleed, it's red.
So
You know, I mean, I just don't understand what their whole. I mean, they not supreme. They think they are, but they not. They out here in the middle of America. And
it's just, I'm not talking about just one particular race, just in anybody in general that hates everybody, another type of
anybody based, any race that hates another race. And,
right.
And you're exactly right. I'm not talking specifically about white people's hatred towards everybody else, because we already know that exists. But I'm talking about anybody else. Even black folks hate towards. I saw a meme the other day, not a meme, but a short the other day, of this black chick talking to a Mexican chick. You spit. You need to go back to. Listen, bitch. It's not that serious, and not for nothing. These people go through the same things that we go through, and not for nothing. That right there. That's an ideology between both of those people that has been paid for by that.
When all they have to do is go to each other, shake each other's hand,
or just, hey, what's your problem?
Or
what's your problem?
Well, what happened to that?
What happened to that? What is your problem? What happened? Okay, let's sit down. What issue do you have with me?
And they're gonna find out quickly
there probably was never an issue. The only issue is that I was biased against you because I've learned some negative things about you and your people that are actually wrong. And I've actually, there's the grown up in, places, rural places, like in places in Florida. I've actually had people change their mind about, because, on several different occasions, because people were able to say, hey, listen, and now they're best friends. Now they're they ride or die for each other. Motherfuckers, they inseparable, because they gave each other a chance. They gave each other an opportunity to say, hey, this is who I am, man.
Right. And
who
it's
are you?
okay to disagree.
It's absolutely okay to disagree
with somebody.
But what's not okay is to just blanketly assume that these people that you're listening to on this news platform are right about these people.
Yeah, form an opinion on this person just
without
because of
knowing anything about these people.
Because I didn't do that. Here, I try not to do that, but I can kind of sense when somebody doesn't even. I'm not going to waste my energy. When they're not feeling. Yeah, if you're not feeling me, we feel it here in the campground.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Well, we don't.
Some have waved, and others
haven't. So,
and that's all right.
And you can see. Also, you can see. As we stopped and talked to Guy Joe last night. Joe was real cool. Came out of a little cabin. Hey, man, how you doing? I said, hey, man, how you feeling? Wow, nobody's really asked me that in a long time.
That made his day.
We sat there, and because I care about how people are feeling.
He even said it. He took two steps back. Like, whoa. Like no one.
Hey, man, how you feeling?
I saw it in his face.
Yeah, because
maybe he's not.
Maybe he's not feeling well. Maybe he's not feeling good. And Joe's a white guy, by the way.
Right.
And
he took the time there.
And he's got a biracial grandson.
Yes.
If you notice that, he's got a biracial autistic grandson that's in a wheelchair and is in a vegetative state. Yeah. But he loves him, and he loves him and he hugs on him, and Joe, he even walked by our campsite last night.
He did, and
continued the conversation. And
we found out something about him.
Yeah, man. And
he's a coach.
Yeah, he's a coach. And although you might see a lot of this stuff in the middle of America, you do know, and there are people out there that are genuine and good people, and
like the guy that helped us.
Yeah, like the guy that helped. He didn't have to do that. He walked right over to, hey man, let me help you out, bro.
Yeah, I've been here.
Thanks, man. I'm over here off in the stupid.
But while everybody else was staring, he took the initiative to say, I'm gonna go over there and help you guys out.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Shout out to we didn't get your name yet, but shout out to that dude. Because listen, shout out to people with that ideology that I'm not afraid, man. I'm gonna go over and approach these people.
Right.
Hey, man, I'm this guy. This dude
and I've been through this.
This guy doesn't mean me any harm. He's not some thug that they make you out to be. She's not fucking, taking my fucking jobs. They're just some fucking people in a campground with a Jeep of a 2004
trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure this shit out.
Because when we got to Indianapolis, listen, our heart rate had just came back to normal.
Yeah,
because
so just was able to swallow my fucking heart back down into my chest. But we left Southern Illinois and got back on the road and pushed forward to our destination where we are
your
right
corns. You were talking about the
And
corn.
now. And while we
The
were going,
purpose of these corns. What do you think these
well,
purposes are?
the purpose of I mean, you think about it, you're like, wow, that's a lot of fucking corn. That's a lot of corn to eat. How much corn are we fucking
that's
eating?
why I kept asking you. Well, being
How
on the
much
road
corn
with you though.
Does America eat?
But being on the road with you I was able to, like, hey, what do you think this is for?
You start putting
wasn't
it
thinking
together
that way before, but
start
now I'm
putting
like, what do you actually? Because you kept saying, because what I kept noticing is that you were like, look, for miles and miles and miles. I was like, well, I never thought about it that way. So
it's corporate.
right, and then
It's
so I was
corporate
like,
corn.
well, what do you think it's for? But
It's for
it's
a wide.
so
It's
much.
a wide variety of
not
uses.
realizing how much
And a
we
lot
use
of those
corn.
uses, some of those uses are good, and some of those uses are bad. That's where we get high fructose corn syrup,
Yes, and
And
that's in
that's-
the Coca-Cola.
and that's in everything. It's in everything. It's
I
killing.
mean, in a lot.
it's
syrup.
killing it. It's
in that syrup,
syrup.
that I like.
Yeah.
What syrup was that? Oh gosh, that old school syrup. Never no more.
Oh, Aunt Jemima or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
A
but-
log cabin.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in all. That's all it is corn syrup.
Right.
It's not good, and they're able to use it, but to feed us. But another one good thing about corn is fuel. You know,
Right.
they use it for fuel. There's and also we eat corn, but it's not organic corn.
So I mean, there is organic corn.
But
we
there
just have
we
to
have to go find it.
Like right down the street, there's a farm, but we have to find out, are you
Right.
organic?
Right.
You know,
That's
and
the
so
thing.
that it does matter.
And
but
that's really what grocery shopping is going to turn into
Right.
here in a few minutes, is shopping at farms. Leaving even if you live in the city, just leaving your city, your dwelling, to go out in the farm and find you some good produce to turn around. If
why
you care.
not?
Why the fuck not? It's a good drive. You learn
You kind
shit.
of cut the middleman, because
Yeah,
the middleman
yeah.
is the
and you
grocery store.
support the person directly, and also
Right.
not for nothing, especially from urban places. If I go out to this place here that doesn't have a lot of black folks going to it, and I go out here on a weekly basis, hey Jim, how you doing? I'm here for some more corn, man. It's great. Eventually Jim's going to say, Mr. Harris, thank you for coming to, and me and Jim are going to be friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's going to understand that all the shit that they tell us about the people over here, that's not true. Mr. Harris is cool.
Yeah,
And all
all
the
he
shit
wants
that
is
people
corn.
and all the people that tell us about Jim out here in the fucking country is fucking bullshit, because Jim is fucking cool. If more people did that, we'd realize that we are not that different after all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we still get the stare down.
Well, we get to stare down because Fox News is telling everybody to stare everybody
All
down.
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
But I'm not worried about those, because I mean, even on this road trip, there has been some kind people.
Yeah,
You know,
and I will say
and
that we saw a large military convoy also.
we did.
I'm going to talk about these two things, and then we're going to wrap it up here, because we got to get into Chicago to do some shit.
I know. I'm like, come on.
Well, it's a lot to cover, babe. We saw a lot of large military convoy, and they had earth movers and excavators and all kinds of things. Large. Large, several of them. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And you start thinking in your mind, what are all these things doing?
And it was miles. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, not all at the same time,
Yeah,
but
there were
sections where
maybe
it was
about 100 and 100 military vehicles in total, over the stretch
Right,
of
yeah.
and
because we were in the same state. wasn't it?
and what they're doing is my guess is they're going out to build detention centers and shit like that, and to house migrants and political prisoners. These people are going to be here in a few minutes. But it seems to me that there's been more military activity, more movement around.
Yeah,
and
more
that
moving around.
that is more signaling that things are headed in a direction that we need to be cautious of. And so much so, folks, and I'm gonna say this, and then we'll probably I'll leave you with this. My wife and I left a place in Florida called Lake City, and there's a road down called Highway 90. It goes all the way east west. It's a United States highway. It goes east and west. And in Lake City, Columbia County, Florida, there is on that road 90, there are 3 prisons. There are 3 or 4 prisons. There's a juvenile detention center,
Yeah,
and then
I think it's about. But
like-
was one active, or abandoned?
I think there was one that was kind of abandoned.
Because I didn't see many cars. I don't know. I haven't seen many cars in that one. But
there was one that,
regardless, I mean, yeah, there's a few. It's a long stretch.
Yeah, it's a long stretch.
Across the street from the National
Forest.
The National
from the
Forest.
the Osceola National Forest. And some of them are conveniently located across the street from the Olusty battlefield, Civil War battlefield, where they reenact the one battle that they won during the Civil War. They reenact that one battle every year in February on that same road.
We've managed not to be around.
Yeah, we try.
Year.
We skip that shit every year. But on that road, we just learned there's a town. That town is about 20 miles from us, and that town is called Sanderson. It is on Highway 90 at the intersection of Highway 90 and I-10, Interstate 10.
Mm-hmm.
There's an intersection there. That's where Sanderson is. That's going to be the new detention center that they're building 20 miles from where me and my wife just left. And they will be flying in and out migrants from the Lake City Airport, which is the airport
down the street,
which is 2 miles from where we live. 2 miles from our house.
All those times we saw the planes.
2 miles from where our home base was. And all the time we saw all these military, they were moving materials and things of that nature to get ready for this whole.
Well, one thing I did notice is the last time we went to Jacksonville is that the land
that cleared like
very quickly. Like remember,
yeah,
I mean, for a while,
like
we've passed through this road,
bunch of acreage all the time,
lot.
and then all of a sudden out of nowhere,
through there, and I just started noticing. All right, no trees today. Okay, wow. Like a few days later, less than a week later,
yeah,
wow, it's cleared out.
Yeah.
And so for a while, remember I kept saying, what is coming here?
Yeah.
They've had this big sign about what's available, how many square feet are available, but that's not where I'm thinking it's going to be. It's going to be.
It's like jail row. It's like incarceration row. Highway 90 is like incarceration row. It's horrible. It really is absolutely terrible.
But it's just how quickly things are cleared for certain things. Yeah. I see construction sites on the highway with nobody at it. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, what is...
Priorities. The priorities of our country has shifted. And we here in this country now have to understand that our way of life is changing forever. And we have to make necessary adjustments if we're going to survive here. And I want to say, now that we are in our destination, and we'll be here for the next month. I'm looking forward to going out into this community over the next month and learning about it and seeing what the fuck is going on with it. And hopefully, we can find some bright spots here.
Right.
Because there have been some bright spots here on the road as we travel through America, but
we still have to be alert.
You have to be alert. There is a dark cloud that is trying to pull itself over all of us, and we have to keep our heads on a swivel. We have to understand where we are. We have to know where our surroundings are. We got to know where we are in this country at all times. Know your laws. Know your rights. Even though people aren't getting due process, they're just being grabbed, locked up, and incarcerated now. It's more critical now more than ever that we stay diligent. And I wanted to say this also. We are a biracial couple. I'm a black man and you are a Puerto Rican woman. And I want to implore unity amongst the black race and the Latin race, because in my opinion, that is the only way that either of us are going to survive this.
Right.
Especially in this country, because that train has left the station and it is gaining steam. I mean, it's headed straight for us. And unless we do something about it, this country, this beautiful country, because it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
The wind,
we've seen so many
listen,
beautiful
the wind
things.
turbines, the mountains,
That was
the
beautiful.
cornfields and the wind turbines with the farms.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's absolutely
for
stunningly
miles.
beautiful. For hundreds of miles, stunningly beautiful landscape. And I don't want this to turn into a place of hate.
Right.
So it's for us, and even the white folks who don't share that ideology. I implore all of us to get together and stand up against this, to get together and say, hey, man, this country is better than you. This country is better than this, because we can be. We have the potential.
We can coexist.
Listen, we have the potential.
We're doing it right here where we're at right now.
Listen.
Yesterday it was full. We took a walk around.
Yeah.
And we're coexisting right now.
I'm gonna tell you what. Some campgrounds are. I mean, there are people just coexisting because
you
there
hear
are
people
so many.
laughing,
Yeah,
the kids
there's
playing.
listen. There's Amish people here. There's Latin people here.
Yes.
There's black people here. There's white folks here, and it's everybody laughing, playing, jumping out here on the fucking bounce house. Nobody looking and staring at each other, just
Right.
watching they fucking kids.
We get that stare down.
The adults get the stare down,
Yes.
from these, because the type, they got their little fucking cut off sleeve shirt with their little fucking, America hat, American
Yes.
hat, flag hat with the little patch on it, and they look like.
And those are those people. You know what? You can keep that.
Yeah.
That's them.
That's them. They. If you want to wave, you wave. I'll wave back. If you
But
don't, I'm not
regardless,
going out of my way for that.
Even being here with so many different, like you just said, it was quiet yesterday, but
Yeah.
now in the evening, I was like, this is how we should be doing it.
Yeah.
Laughing and
Yeah. This is how.
being prepared.
it's-
Also growing our own shit.
It's
though.
community. It's community is what
I
it
think
is.
that
And
these
this,
campgrounds should start growing their own
and
vegetation.
one thing this lifestyle does it's very tribal. It's a very tribal.
is.
It's very
Well,
tribal
we've seen
community.
people in
It's
tents.
like Indians with teepees.
Those people-
natives with teepees.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we're out here and living.
Well, you see how people can survive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in an RV.
Yeah.
There's somebody down the street in a tent only.
the tent camping.
A tent.
Yeah.
But the guys had it down packed in Nashville. They had a whole kitchen
Well,
with their tent. But yeah.
all right, folks. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Deron Harris Podcast. Please stick with me because we're going to continue to talk about our adventures now that we are out on the road. And this is what we've been waiting for the past 3 years. And I promise we will try and find, the most informative things and educational things to tell you about. I do appreciate everybody who continues to listen. I want to thank everybody who listens. I definitely want to thank you guys. I want to thank my wife for joining me on these podcasts, and hopefully she'll start joining me on my podcast, babe. Come talk to me, girl.
Okay.
Yeah. The fuck.
We should come back with some history.
We can. I mean,
like this town that we're in. It's Baby Town.
I want to see.
And what does what's the history
we're gonna
behind
walk
it?
in one of these motherfucking bars down
This is
here.
and also, by the way, this is my first time being out here.
Okay. Hey.
So
mine too.
I would like to learn more about the history around us.
We're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to thank my parents for giving me the mouthpiece and the brain. I want to thank my best friend and producer Jesse Yandel for being a lights out producer every single week. Sorry about the show; it was late this week, but I was traveling. And I want to thank Gentry Thomas for giving me the platform. He's actually from Indiana, by the way. Gentry's from Indiana, and man, but I'm going to tell you what. I love Gentry to death. That's my man, and I'm glad that I feel that Gentry doesn't really share that ideology. That the people with the number 14 on the big side of the barn feel. So I want to thank all my listeners, last but not least, and I want you guys to be safe. I want everybody out there to pay attention. Start paying attention, man. Start paying attention to the signs around you. In a minute, media is going to be different. Social media itself is going to be way different. They're going to take control of so many things. You're going to lose out on so much information and access. Believe your eyes, okay? Don't believe what they tell you, all right? Believe your eyes. Don't believe what they tell you. And don't lay down for bullshit. Stand up. Fight. You know what I'm saying? Stand up. But we can fight in different ways. We don't have to fight violently. We can fight by not participating, by not playing their game, by not being around, by being where we're supposed to be at. which we should have been there in the first place, which is around loving each other. All right? So until next week, folks, I'm Deron Harris, and that's my wife, Yvonne. You're supposed to say, I'm Yvonne.
Oh, and I'm Yvonne. Or Vivian to some.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he tried, though. He almost had it, though. That's fine. That was cool. And thank you guys for listening to my show. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week. All right? Peace.
You've been listening to the Deron Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DeronHarris.com.